There is a picture book with the title Violence Against Women in Australia, Let's Change the Story. The pages start to turn.
This is the story of a boy and a girl. It's a universal story and an Australian story. It's a story that occurs every 2 minutes, in fact. A story that happens 657 times a day, every day of the year, and in every kind of household and every city and region across Australia. This is the biggest story behind violence against women. This story doesn't have a happy ending. Because this is the story of how gender inequality contributes to the murder of one Australian woman almost every week. Sounds like a tall tale, right? Let's take things back to the start.
The picture book pages flip back to the beginning of the book. A picture of a woman appears.
Here's the story of a regular woman. As a girl, she gets told how pretty she is, never how clever she is, that if she wears a short dress, she's asking for it.
The words sexist gender norms, stereotyped gender roles, and harmful and rigid constructions of masculinity and femininity flash up around the woman.
She grows up and gets used to being harassed by men on the street. That's just the way it is. Here's the story of a regular man. As a boy, he learns that women aren't equal to men from a very early age. Even though both his parents work, on the weekends his mum does the housework while dad watches sport.
The words sexist practices appear.
When he cries about being bullied at school, his dad tells him to stop being such a girl and just punch him right back. Technically speaking, we'd say that these social norms, practices and structures have shaped both the boy and the girl, creating a society where women are valued less and men are expected to be dominant and in control. In such a world, disrespect and hostility is excused and violence against women is far more likely. But back to our story. The girl grows up into a woman, the boy grows into a man, and they begin to date. He jokes that he hopes she doesn't get fat now that we're together. She's not sure whether she should laugh.
The words disrespect and controlling behaviours appear.
They have the same education and do similar work, yet he earns more money. He's quickly promoted, like other men in the company, while she gets overlooked.
The words structural inequality appear.
At home, she does all the household chores, and he takes control of their joint finances, seeing as he's the main breadwinner and all.
The words individual and relationship inequality appear.
When they're at the pub, he puts her down in front of his mates. His friends stay quiet.
The words behaviour tolerated by friends appear.
In the morning, he wakes up and blames the alcohol. And stress, he always has an excuse.
The words alcohol use, drug use, money troubles and stress appear.
When she gets pregnant, her boss says she can't come back part-time.
The words system and institutional inequality appear.
After the baby is born, the lack of flexible job opportunities and childcare keeps her out of the workforce. She is socially isolated and financially dependent on him. He controls decision-making, and her. They are not equals. She is dependent on him for everything. So she never tells anyone that he has started to hit her. She doesn't say anything to her family or friends. She grows more isolated. She has nothing else but him, so she lives with the violence until their story ends, one way or another.
The picture of the woman and man fade away.
This story isn't a one-off. It's a story shared by 1 in 4 Australian women who have experienced physical or sexual violence from a current or former partner. And it's a story of 1 in 5 women since the age of 15 who experience sexual violence, including rape, 1 in 4 emotional violence, and 1 in 3 women physical violence. But it's also a story that affects children. More than half of the women who experienced violence had children in their care when the violence occurred. For victims and perpetrators, violence against women is the conclusion often reached after a life lived in a society where women and men aren't treated equally.
The words power, control, and disrespect appear.
But we, you and I, can change the narrative. Better education, policies, practices, support and funding can prevent this all too common story.
A picture of a woman and a man standing side by side. The words respectful relationships education, women's leadership and participation, equal pay and flexible workplaces, funding women's services, access to quality childcare, and popular culture free of gender stereotypes appear.
When women and men have equal power, value, and opportunities in relationships and in society, violence against women is less likely. By nurturing caring, respectful, and equal relationships, and by creating equitable and inclusive communities, workplaces, and institutions, we can create a society of equality and respect, where violence against women is unthinkable.
A picture of a happy, equal family appears. The picture book closes and it has a new title.
Let's change the story, because ending violence against women starts with gender equality.
ourwatch.org.au. End credits. Our Watch, Vic Health and Anne Rose. A shared framework for the primary prevention of violence against women and their children in Australia.